Jaqen H'ghar doesn't choose people. The Faceless Men don't form attachments, and they don't recruit on the road. They erase themselves so completely that the name Jaqen H'ghar didn't even belong to the man wearing it. So when this person, in the middle of a war zone, turns to a young girl and offers to take her to Braavos, you have to ask, is he settling a debt? Or did something about her catch his attention long before that fire even started? That's what this video is about. What a Faceless Man was doing in the black cells of King's Landing before Arya Stark was ever part of the story. Faceless men don't get caught, and they certainly don't stumble into dungeons. If Jaqen was in that wagon heading north with Yoren's recruits, he put himself there. He had a contract in King's Landing, a reason to be underground, and then Joffrey ordered a public execution and collapsed whatever he came to do.
Sir Ilyn, bring me his head.
The show never tells us who hired him or why, but someone paid to have one of the most dangerous people alive placed inside the black cells, with direct access to a high-value prisoner. The most logical target is Ned Stark. Whoever arranged it needed Ned dead quietly, before he could reach the wall and get word north about what had actually happened in King's Landing. A silent death in the cells achieves that. A public beheading at the Great Sept, however, does the opposite. Joffrey went off script, the contract collapsed, and Jaqen found himself stranded in a cage heading north with no mission left. And there was Arya. So yes, he owed her. But watch what he does with that debt. He doesn't clear it fast and disappear. He watches how she spends it. The Tickler, Amory Lorch, two names used with specific purpose, against people she had particular reasons to want dead. And when the three names still can't get her what she actually needs,
Jaqen H'ghar.
She names Jaqen. She holds a Faceless Man to ransom using his own code, and he folds. Not because he's weak,
No.
because the logic is airtight. A name is a name. He said so himself. If she names him and he refuses to honor it, the whole framework collapses. So he clears her path out of Harrenhal and asks for nothing back. That's not a debt settlement, it's a test result. To understand why that test matters, you need to understand what the Faceless Men actually are. They are not a guild of assassins for hire in the conventional sense. They serve the many-faced god, the god of death, and they believe that death is a gift they deliver with purpose. Every kill is a religious act. To do that work, you cannot have a self. No name, no face, no history, no loyalty to anything except the god and the contract. They don't recruit people who want to become killers. They recruit people who have already started the process of erasing themselves. People for whom identity has already become a burden rather than an anchor. That is the only kind of person the training can work on. Everyone else breaks or walks away. Think about what Jaqen watched during those weeks at Harrenhal. Arya didn't panic. She cataloged. She listened at doors, she memorized faces, she sat across from Tywin Lannister every day and kept her cover intact. She was 11 years old. The Tickler was a man who frightened grown soldiers, and she named him with no visible hesitation. Amory Lorch got named because he caught her carrying stolen information, and she needed him gone before he could speak. That's not revenge, that's threat management. She looked at the situation, identified the variable that could kill her, and removed it. The third name, naming Jaqen himself, is the one that would have told him everything. Because she didn't panic when she ran out of options. She thought laterally. She found the one lever left available to her and pulled it. A man trained in Braavos to read people. Watching a child do that under pressure is not going to forget it. He offers to take her with him. She says she wants to go home, and he accepts that. But he doesn't leave empty-handed.
The iron coin is the detail that makes the debt theory fall apart on its own. You give someone a coin like that when you want to see them again. The coin isn't compensation. It isn't a farewell gift. It's a door left open. Jaqen tells her, if you ever need to find us, hold this out, say Valar Morghulis, and passage will come. He is building her a path to Braavos that she can take the moment she decides she wants it. That's forward planning. You don't do that for someone you owe a favor, and nothing more. The mystery is whether Jaqen believed she'd actually use it or whether he knew. Because there's a version of this story where the coin is just insurance. And there's another version where a faceless man, sitting across from a girl who just outmaneuvered him, already understands
understands she has nowhere else to go. She just doesn't know it yet. By the time Jaqen puts that coin in her hand, the list of what Arya Stark has lost is longer than most adults accumulate in a lifetime. Syrio Forel is gone, the one person who had started teaching her how to survive, dead holding off Lannister guards with a wooden sword so she could run. Her father was executed in front of a crowd, while she watched from a statue. She fled King's Landing disguised as a boy, spent weeks on the road with Night's Watch recruits she barely knew, and watched those men get slaughtered by Lannister soldiers before ending up in Harrenhal, scrubbing floors and pouring wine for the man responsible for her family's destruction. She has no father, no home, no real name she can safely use. She's traveling under a false identity in the middle of a war with a list of names she recites like a prayer each night. The version of herself that existed before Baelor's Sept is gone. She didn't choose that, it was taken from her. But the effect is the same as someone who walked into the House of Black and White voluntarily and surrendered their identity at the door. Jaqen would have clocked that immediately. The Faceless Men aren't looking for loyal people or skilled people. They're looking for people who have already let go of who they were. Arya is walking around Harrenhal with no attachment left to her name, beyond stubborn will. To a recruiter from the House of Black and White, that's not a grieving child. That's a candidate. The offer to take her to Braavos makes complete sense now. He's not being generous. He's being efficient. The show doesn't confirm any of this directly, and that's probably intentional. What it does give you is a trail. Jaqen disappears at the end of Season 2 and resurfaces in Season 5, standing inside the House of Black and White when Arya knocks on the door. He has a different face. He doesn't greet her or explain himself. He simply opens the door and walks away, and she follows. There is no surprise in how he moves, no adjustment to her presence. He behaves exactly like a man who has been expecting someone. The House of Black and White is not a way station. It's the center of the Faceless Men's entire operation. There's no reason for him to be stationed there unless he has specific work to do. And the only specific work that arrives in Season 5 is Arya Stark, with her iron coin and her 3 years of grief, exactly as he left her. If Jaqen had no particular interest in Arya, that's a strange place for him to be. If he did, then everything that happened at Harrenhal reads differently. The wagon, the fire, the 3 deaths, the coin, all of it starts to look less like a series of coincidences and more like a process, with a specific outcome in mind. You can watch the Harrenhal scenes as a story about a girl who got lucky, meeting the right person at the worst moment of her life. Or you can watch them as a story about a man who recognized exactly what she was, gave her the tools to find him when she was ready, and then went to wait. The show never tells you which one is true. That ambiguity is the most interesting thing about Jaqen H'ghar. He's the only character in Game of Thrones whose motives the writers never fully unpack. And given what we know about the Faceless Men, that might be the point. A man with no name doesn't leave answers, only doors. If questions like this one keep you up at night, PlotCorn is where they live. Subscribe, and we'll keep pulling at the threads the show left hanging.